You know what I'm gonna do about it? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tweet my displeasure. That's right. I'm gonna jump on social media and I'm gonna tweet about it until my fingers bleed. I might even send an Instagram or a Vine. That's right. And on that tweet, in that tweet, and however many characters I get, I am gonna threaten. That's right. If I don't get what I want, I'm gonna riot. And if that doesn't work, then by God, me and my friend Mark, we're gonna stop watching. That's right.
Jinder Mahal, you are the new WWE Champion. What message do you want to give to the WWE Universe?
I just want to tell the WWE Universe, I told you so. I've been saying since I became the #1 contender, the Maharaja will become WWE Champion. You know what? It feels pretty good. And I just want to tell the WWE Universe, I plan on seeing WWE Champion for a long time, so they better get used to it. The Maharaja's reign has just begun.
Gentlemen, despite the antics of Breezango, you are still the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Talk to us about the match tonight.
You see, antics, you're right. Try to come out there and disguise and play all them games like it's a joking game. Talking about day one will be H. I'll tell you this.
What the hell does that mean?
I know.
What that mean?
They know how to say our names right now.
Right.
Day one-ish. Day one, #2 tag team.
Huh?
I don't care how many wigs they wear. I don't care how many women they dress up like. I don't care how much floors they mop. We don't look like no tag team champions, do we, Hoots? What does this tell you right here? This ain't dress up. This ain't dress up. This is earned blood, sweat, and tears. Out there every damn night working for these. Still. WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Boy, let's go party. Man, let's go.
Over the past couple of weeks, you've been very vocal about the attention that newcomer Shinsuke Nakamura has gotten around here.
Yeah.
How are you feeling heading into this matchup tonight?
The attention's there, which is great. Because, like I've said before, the WWE Universe really embraces a shiny new toy, and they get really excited. I've been there before, and one way or another, they find a way to turn their back on you. And no matter how good you are at your job or what you've accomplished in the business, eventually the shine wears off. And tonight, with all eyes on this match, I couldn't have asked for a better setting. An amazing crowd that's going to be chanting Nakamura over and over and begging for him to take that knee and crush my face. And all I have to do is remember who I am. Remember what got me here. Remember why 95% of all the opponents I've had in the last 10 years don't even work here anymore, because I don't just survive, I don't just last. I'm always hanging on by a thread and one step away from being at the top of the game. So Nakamura, I've been told, has accomplished a lot. None of it has been here. So all I have to do is remember who I am, and when he goes for that knee to crush my face, all I got to do is get the hell out of the way one time and return the favor to his. So for everything he's done, I'm going to remember who I am. I'm Dolph Ziggler. And you're not.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 55 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast here on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Audio Boom, wherever you get your podcasts from. What's going on, everybody? I am the student of the game of professional wrestling, Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at NotoriousJoshi and at Instagram at NotoriousJoshi as well. We got some good news for you guys today. Starting this week, we're airing our shows on mindofcarnage.com. I want to give a shout out to Kate and the entire MLC crew over there at mindofcarnage.com for giving me the opportunity to display this show on a bigger platform like this, because it's something I'm very proud of, and I'm very proud of this podcast. And we're only scratching the surface of what this podcast could be, and to be honest with you, I don't think we even reached the surface of what our full potential will be. And honestly, I think sooner or later everybody will find out where the best wrestling podcast is at. And it's thanks to you guys. I come on here and I do what I do. I give you my points of view and I give you my authentic opinion. And that's all I can ever get to you guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat things, but at the same time, I'm not going to come here and pop a blood vessel over booking and storylines and stuff, because that's not my forte. That's not why I do this. That's not why I talk about wrestling. I just do this to talk about something that I love, and it's something that I'm passionate about, and something that I want to do for a living. And I want to thank Mind of Carnage. Follow them on Twitter at Mind of Carnage, by the way. Check out their website. And they got a lot of great podcasts there as well. So this week we're going to have 2 new episodes to get back to you guys, because I wasn't able to record the past couple weeks. I've been dealing with a cold. I went to 2 wrestling shows this past weekend, and all this stuff with the birthday stuff going on, I just haven't really had enough time to do the podcast. But again, if this is your first time checking out the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, from me to you, I say thank you, because I know you got so many other things you should be worried about or focusing on. But if you decide to take some time during your lunch schedule, or if you're driving home from work today, depending when you listen to this, and you're driving your way home and you're enjoying this, well, thanks for being part of the family. And I hope I can entertain you during your adventures on your way home. So, just a couple plugs. Like I said, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at NotoriousJoshi. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. That would really, really help us out. That's all I ever ask. I won't charge you for money for the podcast or anything like that. All I ever ask for you guys is subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And please leave a review. I want to get to know how you guys feel about this particular show. Do you like what I'm doing? Is there something you'd like me to change? I need your honest feedback. So that's all I ever ask. Leave an honest review rating of this podcast on iTunes. And spread the word about it on social media. So, got the plugs out of the way. Shout out to Mind of Carnage. This week, we're having this particular episode, and then tomorrow, I'm going back on YouTube to record a live, not interview, but we're going to do a separate side podcast with the good brother Ronnie Starks tomorrow. So that should be a lot of fun. So, got all the plugs out of the way. Let's talk some wrestling, yeah. Man, I say this a lot after pay-per-view weekends, but man, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan in 2017. It is. You know, I'll have people come up to me that probably haven't watched wrestling since the Attitude Era, and they're like, oh, wrestling's not real unless it has blood and people are cursing and you got women out with their tits hanging out. And then you have the other people that come up to you, oh, you know wrestling's fake, right? Yeah, I know wrestling is fake. But guess what? The guy that got his ass whooped by Negan from Walking Dead, that was fake too. Lucille is not real. I know what I'm watching. But it's just so funny when people come up to you, why are you watching this stuff? It's not even real. Well, because I'm entertained by it. Or why do you spend $15 to drive your happy ass to a movie theater to watch a movie? You know that's not real. So are we only allowed to watch documentaries because that's real? Are we only supposed to watch sports events because that's real? Because if you ask me, the NBA is more scripted than the WWE is right now. And I'm not afraid to say that. This NBA playoffs has been absolutely boring. It's been hot garbage basketball. And you're telling me that, we have to be on a pins and needles for Cavs Warriors 3 because, we need the ratings. No. It's a work. Every year we need to go on this long, outdated journey to get LaTrash James in the NBA Finals every year. And then either he loses and chokes like he usually does because he's not the greatest basketball player of all time, or surprisingly, some other player on his team hits a miraculous shot and they're winning the championship like Kyrie Irving did last year. So I think it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. People could throw the ratings argument and wrestling is fake and this and yada 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 yada, and I really don't care. I really don't care. In this monologue, I am going to talk about two things. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Randy Orton posts of going at Nimrods and Young Club members, and I'm also going to give you my review for Backlash that I got to attend this past weekend at the Rosemont Horizon. And I wanted to talk about the Randy Orton stuff because I didn't get a chance to do it last week. The only time I got to talk about the Randy Orton situation was at the Bomba Pipes, a.k.a. the Pipe Bomb with Meek, McCool and Company on the Insiders of New Age Network. You can check out that show on Friday. And by the way, we got our new Pipe Bomb t-shirt store on Represent.com. Just go type in the Pipe Bomb and you'll find it on Represent.com. So I'm going to pull up this tweet from Randy Orton from a couple weeks ago. And honestly, this got a lot of traffic, man. This whole thing about him going off and this and that, yada, yada, yada. I'm scrolling it up right here on my Twitter app. Here we go. This is from May 14th. Today is May 23rd. So it's 9 days ago. So here we go. So basically, the whole thing started with Rip Rogers retweeting a post from an independent wrestler that he trains. And basically what it said is just the general formula of what goes into an indie-style match today. And it was pretty much on the tee. I mean, I've been to independent shows before, and I enjoy going to AAW shows and et cetera, but every match is just about the same. It's always same formula, flip styles, and try to outdo the previous match. That's the formula of most independent matches. And then Randy Orton retweeted it, and he went ... dive. and he was making a joke about it. He was laughing, and he actually agreed with Rip Rogers. And then you got all the sensitive, butthurt non-club members and Nimrods going after Randy Orton. How you say such a thing? All you do is headlocks and backbreakers, and you don't do 630 planchas and all this other nonsense. And going after Randy Orton's wrestling style. Now, here's something that I never understand about professional wrestling and professional wrestling fans. It's okay when independent wrestlers defend their style of wrestling when old-timers go after them. But it's okay for us as fans, because we're so entitled, that we could go after WWE superstars for the way they wrestle, because they don't wrestle the Ring of Honor style and the New Japan style. But when the wrestlers of the WWE respond back, they're assholes, they're douchebags, they're jerks, they're this and that. I find that so ironic that we give the independent stars a pass because they're defending their art, right? We all say this is entertainment, this is art, yet the WWE superstars are not allowed to have art. Because they work for Vince McMahon, they're not allowed to have their own style and actually save their bodies and wrestle for more than 10 years. Like, I never understand that argument. I really don't. There's a lot of things about wrestling fandom that I don't understand. And I talk about it a lot. You guys know me. Like, I don't care about wins and loss records. I never have. It's such a stupid argument. Am I enjoyed by the match? That's all I care about. At the end of the day, if you're watching professional wrestling, you should ask yourself this one question. Whether it's a promo segment or a match, are you entertained? And for the most part, I'm mostly entertained. Yeah, there's some things I could do without or whatever, but that is what it is. But let me read this tweet from Randy Orton. Sorry to the indie marks, indie guys, and old timers who do dies took offense. Just having a good time over a few drinks in Denmark, closing out the SmackDown Live European tour while beating Monday Night Raw and making over $5 million in the last 11 shows. Now, I know to some that doesn't equate to standing room only crowds of 150 people paying only $8 in an armory somewhere, but in the big boy world, that's called putting asses in seats. So enjoy your flips, dives, and 20 super kicks per match. To each their own. I'll go dive back into my 13th tower reign and get ready to flip when my big statement closes this month. ... Headlock. So I talked about this on the Pipe Bomb last week. What did Randy Orton say in that post that was wrong? What did he say in that post that was so wrong? Like, I get there's people out there that don't like Randy Orton because they feel that the character is stale and it's repetitive, and Randy supposedly rests on his laurels and he's lazy and all this other stuff. I'm not going to make accusations like that. I never met the guy. I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know what his work ethic is or not. To say that he's lazy and this, all that, I can't throw out accusations like that. That's not something that I do. But look, I like professional wrestling. I like today's wrestling. I say it a lot. I enjoy today's wrestling just as much now as I did when I was a kid during the Attitude Era. But don't get me wrong, I also like the old school style of wrestling as well. I was always a big fan of the NWA product and also Mid-South. I talk about it when I was doing the old Pro Wrestling Experience show. I loved the Mid-South stuff when they had that DVD that came out a few years ago. They had the Rat Pack and they had JYD, and you go to the Chi-Town Rumble where you had Steve-O versus Flair. I like the old school matches. I do like old school wrestling as well. I've always been a fan of wrestling, and it's funny when we get to these arguments about what style is right and what style is wrong, and who should be booking this and who should be booking that, and it's really, really funny arguments at the end of the day. So if you have a rational person that doesn't know anything about professional wrestling, and they come to you, and they're tuning into your show, right, or listening to your show right now, right, and you hear these people yell and scream on the top of their lungs about this guy should be booking this match this way and booking this match that way, and these arguments and how the style should be, when at the end of the day all this stuff is not real in the sense of, okay, Jinder Mahal did become the WWE champion this past Sunday, right? But he's not really the WWE champion. You win these matches, but are you really winning these matches? Like, for example, like a couple years ago, Daniel Bryan won the main event of WrestleMania, right? Against Batista and Randy Orton. We get so boggled down by booking and creative and how this should be booked and how this should be booked, and the difference from having small guys being pushed to the main event scene as opposed to bodybuilders and guys like Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin, right? We went on this 3-month soliloquy of, oh, Daniel Bryan or bust for WrestleMania 30. The guy wins the title at WrestleMania 30. But what is everybody talking about from that show? The Undertaker streak coming to an end. And I'm not just bringing this up because I'm an Undertaker guy. I hold nothing back from that. I am an Undertaker guy. I was looking forward to that match more than I was the whole Daniel Bryan thing. But the point is, we get so boggled down about booking and which style of wrestling should be booked this way or that way. We lose the hindsight of what this is at the end of the day. It's entertainment. Putting asses in seats and getting people to talk. Undertaker's streak coming to the end on WrestleMania 30 was the biggest moment from that WrestleMania. It wasn't Daniel Bryan closing out the WrestleMania and making Batista tap out. I enjoyed the match. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the match, but what do you remember about that? Moments that affect the characters' long-term legacies, or subjective booking decisions that you're going to forget about the next month? I'm just throwing out that question out there, but that's my thoughts on the whole Randy Orton thing. I just thought it was really, really funny that people are going on their high horse of how dare Randy Orton say this and that. The guy's bust his ass. He's been loyal to the company. I know he's made some mistakes with using drugs and stuff, and et cetera, but he's not my favorite guy on the roster, but I've literally grown up watching Randy Orton's entire career, and I am a fan of the guy. I just don't get the backlash part of the punch towards the guy. I don't get it. But let's talk about Backlash, the pay-per-view that I got to go to this past Sunday at the Rosemont Horizon. By the way, if this weekend hasn't shown you that Chicago has the best professional wrestling fans in the world, and that the Rosemont Horizon, aka the Allstate Arena, is the best wrestling arena in the USA, in the country, or in the entire world, I don't know what else could show you that. I want to give a big props to my city. I'm so proud of my city for the fun that brought into these shows. Not only Backlash, but also NXT Takeover Chicago, which I'll talk about in a little bit. It was very special, man, for me as a wrestling fan. I've been to just about a lot, I think over 50 or 100 wrestling shows in Chicago in my lifetime. And this weekend was special, man. The atmosphere was there. The crowds were great. And the best part about this, and I know I'm a punk guy. Everybody knows that I'm a punk guy. But still, the fact that whenever a CM Punk chant was going to get going, it was booed immediately out of the arena. So, personally for me, I want to thank my city for showing everybody that we're not freaking Young Club members and Nimrods like the Wells Fargo Center and the Barclays Center and all these other smart market territories. We're here to enhance the show and make the show better and have a good time. It's not about, this thing should be booked this way, this thing should be booked that way. I'm going to boo and block wrestlers out of the arena because, Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. Or, I'm going to boo a Finn Balor Seth Rollins match because I don't like the design of a Universal title. So, again, I want to give props to my city. They did a phenomenal job this weekend as a crowd in general, and I had a blast. Backlash, I thought was very good. It was very, very good for it being a SmackDown pay-per-view. And they're trying new stuff out. They're giving other guys a chance. The whole land of opportunity thing. And you wouldn't expect the show to be as good as it was, actually. To see Nakamura make his debut was awesome. I had the video on my phone. I may post it up on my YouTube channel sometime this week, but it was awesome to see the entrance. I thought him and Dolph Ziggler had a very, very good match. Just what it needed to be. Nakamura got the victory. You didn't get to see all of Nakamura in this match, and I don't think you needed to anyway, because this is the sample. They're treating Nakamura as an attraction. You don't get everything in the kitchen sink when Nakamura wrestles. You gotta wait for those special moments. So whoever Nakamura fights at SummerSlam, you'll see the Nakamura. But I got to see Nakamura perform before. This is my second time I got to see him. I got to see him for the first time at NXT Takeover Orlando a few months ago. And the guy's a great wrestler. And it was really cool to see the entrance live again, especially in the arena. It was awesome. We go from that to Breezango and the Usos. And I got to give both teams a big round of applause. Because these guys killed it. Like, seriously killed it. Sorry about that. These guys were on their game. They kicked ass. Breezango was cracking me up. I'm really, really glad that the WWE decided to re-air that Fashion Files segment before the tag team title match. Because, when you have main roster pay-per-view events, especially in Chicago, there's more kids down there. And you got more of the casual fans and the parents are like, I really don't want to be here, but I'll take my kid here. And this is for another reason to get out of the house type of scenario. And I'm glad that they re-aired the faction file so they could show everybody who Breezango is. And it was awesome. It cracked me up. Day one is aged. All the hilarious stuff they're doing is awesome. I couldn't be happier for Tyler and Fandango. And the match was good too, man. It was very funny at times, but it was also very good. It was good wrestling as well. And the Usos are on a new... I think they found some new gear. Not new gear, but new ground with their heel characters. And I love their promos. It's not Paranoia, it's Usos. And I really, really liked this tag team match on Sunday. It was very, very good and very, very entertaining. So, again, I want to give props to both tag teams. They did a very good job. And tonight's SmackDown Live is from Toledo, Ohio. And I remember hearing stuff that the New Day should be making their return to SmackDown tonight. So that should be interesting. Speaking of SmackDown, make sure to check out SmackDown Universal Chatter later on tonight. The Obsolete Mule Brother Carter on Wrestle Rumors Facebook page. You guys can check that out. Let's move on to the next one. Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn. I thought it was a very good match. I thought it was another good coming out party for Baron Corbin. I was actually surprised that Sami Zayn won the match. I really was. I don't think it affects Baron Corbin, but I can see if people didn't like the fact that Corbin lost. It is what it is, but I really enjoyed the match. Both guys brought it. I like the fact that Corbin was working on that back and was working on the body part. I thought it was a very nice, old-school, mid-card type of match on a pay-per-view. So I want to give props to Corbin and Zayn. They did a very solid job in their match at Backlash. And now here's the thing, though. Do you put both guys in the Money in the Bank ladder match, right? We got Money in the Bank coming up in June 18th from St. Louis. So we got to figure out what's going to happen. You know, we got to figure out who's going to be in this Money in the Bank ladder match, who will be the favorite. If it was up to me, and I know a lot of people are saying this as well, Baron Corbin would be my pick right now for Money in the Bank. I think the guy needs it, and he'd be the perfect guy to hold the Money in the Bank briefcase right now, to be honest with you. So if I had to choose one, I would go with Baron Corbin to win the Money in the Bank ladder match right now. But we'll talk about that as we lead up to Money in the Bank. Other stuff on the show, I mean, it was cool to see Charlotte in person. I talked about it in the Bomb Pites. She's my hall pass now. So the fact that I got to see her was really cool. I thought the 6-woman tag match was okay. I wasn't crazy about it. It was alright. Kevin Owens and AJ Styles had an awesome match. They had a great match. And I thought the old school finish with the count out was perfect for what this feud needed. And it adds more heat to Kevin Owens. And it gives you guys another reason to do a rematch. Now you want to see the rematch, and you want to see what will actually happen when the clean pinfall actually happens. So I'm looking forward to seeing when this rematch will happen. But I gotta say this, man, Kevin Owens was on fire on Talking Smack this past Sunday after Backlash. Kevin Owens is the freaking man. It took me a long while to find a person to claim as my favorite superstar since CM Punk left the company. I was looking for a new guy that I could back behind. But Kevin Owens is my new favorite wrestler for the current roster right now that are at least active. So Kevin Owens is killing it, and I couldn't be happier for the guy. The guy whips ass every single time he's in the ring, and his heel work from a promo standpoint is just absolutely awesome. So I didn't mind the fact that the match ended in a count out. It gives you a good reason to have the rematch, and it adds more heat to the feud. So good job, good stuff from AJ and KO, and the crowd was very into it as well. Actually, I felt kind of bad for Harper and Rowan because they had to follow that match. I think if given the stipulation of being no DQ, maybe people would have been more invested into it. I thought the match was fine for what it was for two big, tall, rugged guys that don't go high speed all the time. I know Luke Harper does the indie style sometimes, but I think Rowan's underrated in the ring, and I thought he did a good job in that Talking Smack segment after last week's SmackDown Live. And I just think this match should have had like a no DQ situation. Rowan's upset with the fact that Harper betrayed the family. Yet you guys are going to have a match where it's bear hugs and chin locks and arm bars and stuff. It takes you out of it like that. You need the when you have a personal rivalry like that for a family point of view, you need the gimmicks. you need the hardcore weapons in that particular match. So glad to see Luke Harper win, though. It was very cool. Now the moment in my favorite part of the show for me at Backlash, I've been saying on this particular show since WrestleMania and after the Superstars shakeup, give Jinder a chance. Myself, G-Rod, Rob from the Rambling Rams with Rob podcast. By the way, I got to give a shout out to him towards the end of this podcast this week. I've been saying it, man. Give Jinder a chance. What do you have to lose? Give Jinder a chance. Now, I did say I did like Randy Orton. I do like Randy Orton. So, I had a rooting interest for this match because I like both guys. I do. And I thought they did a very good job in the match for what it was. And they got the shot factor and all, and everybody's jaws dropped. What you saw on the TV was the real deal. I'll say this, man. I was going insane when I saw Jinder win the match. I've been an advocate for this Jinder character since he went to SmackDown Live. And we always talk about we want something different and something out of the box and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Yet when they give you something different, it's not what you want because it's not an indie or Ring of Honor guy. You know, guys that are trained professional wrestlers should all get equal amount of respect and pushes, in my opinion. I don't think we should play this game of, if you're from this style of wrestling or if you're trained for the WWE, you're not a real professional wrestler. You're just a sports entertainer. I don't like that argument. I'm happy for Jinder Mahal. He proved his haters wrong. He had everybody talking about it the next day, and that water cooler conversation that everybody loves to talk about in the world of professional wrestling, Jinder Mahal was it. And Jinder Mahal did the job right. And Randy Orton had a good reaction from the crowd too, which kind of caught me by surprise with this whole dive stuff. But again, I enjoyed Backlash. I had a great time there in person, attending the show. It was a lot of fun. And props to everybody for the SmackDown Live crew, and they put on a great show. So that's my thoughts on Backlash. We're here comments from Bobby Roode and Jim Ross coming out of last Saturday's NXT Takeover Chicago. Sit back and enjoy these clips.
Bobby Roode, congratulations on another victory here in NXT Takeover Chicago as you defeated Hideo Itami.
You sound surprised. Are you surprised? I mean, are you surprised that this happened tonight? I mean, Hideo Itami, a guy that has been under contract with NXT for quite a while, but let's face it, I mean, I didn't even realize he was still around. And he walks back in and he wants to challenge me, the greatest NXT champion of all time. Sure, he earned it. But let's face it, Hideo Itami isn't even in my league, and I proved it here tonight in Chicago. Now, I know your next question is going to be, what's next for Bobby Roode? Who's going to be the next challenger to step up? Well, let me tell you, Kayla, it's whatever I decide and whoever I want, because I'm going to go home. I'm going to lay by my pool. I'm going to put my feet up. I'm going to put my title beside me. I'm going to enjoy some time off. And then when I feel like coming back, I'll decide who that's going to be. Because my NXT will continue to be glorious.
Jim Ross, it is so great to have you here at NXT TakeOver Chicago. You were just out there with the crowd. How did it feel for you to be out there in front of all the live audience?
Well, it felt great. You know, it's always great to be back in this arena. It's really a super city, energized crowd. They love NXT, and to be a part of TakeOver is a lot of fun for me.
Now, we just saw the United Kingdom Championship take place. How do you feel the United Kingdom competitors fared in front of a United States crowd?
Hey, those two kids can wrestle. Really good, well-conditioned athletes. I'm impressed with the former champion, Tyler Bate. I think Pete Dunne, him winning was not a big shock to me, but two really talented guys. And the nice thing about the UK scene, from my perspective, is that the covers are loaded with some great stars that I think we'll be seeing hopefully in the future.
Thank you, Jim.
This is the part of the show where I want to give out a couple of shout-outs if I can. I want to give a shout-out to Jade Stilo and Gorilla Position. For James for doing that NXT TakeOver UK Championship match preview before TakeOver. I was taking the train out to Rosemont by myself. I went to NXT TakeOver Chicago by myself this past Saturday, and it was a night to myself. It was a belated birthday gift, and it's kind of cool to be in the position where you're able to buy your own tickets without going to family and stuff like that. And I decided I wanted to go out to NXT TakeOver, and I wanted to see it because I was actually... I wanted to see the show, and get to listen to the podcast, or he did a sit-down interview not only with Pete Dunne, but also with that interview with the Q&A he did with Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. Was awesome, and I got to know more about the guys and what they stand for and where their background's from, and it really got me even more invested in the UK Championship match before it even happened. So I want to give a shout out to James and the entire crew at Gorilla Position for doing that. At times I'm 50-50 on the NXT brand. I mentioned this before. I don't think every single NXT takeover is the greatest thing since sliced bread as opposed to popular belief. I do enjoy the shows for what they are. They are entertaining, and these guys do bust their ass for us. I'm just excited the fact that I got to sit back and enjoy the show. And they recorded an episode of NXT before TakeOver, which was really cool. I got to see Drew McIntyre wrestle again, which was fun. And then I got to see what's his face? Aleister Black make his Chicago debut, which was really cool as well. So shout out to both guys. And overall, man, NXT TakeOver Chicago was awesome, man. I know everybody's putting it over on social media as they should over the weekend. It was very, very, very good, and I think I thought from top to bottom the show was awesome. So I thought Roderick Strong, Eric Gill was really cool. Really cool for the fact that I got to interview Roderick Strong before on my old Pro Wrestling Experience show. And I'm happy for Roddy. He's picking up some steam now in NXT. He's finding some new ground with his character, and I'm happy for the guy. And he beat Eric Young, and they had Sanity out in ringside, which is cool. What else needs to be said for Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne besides this? Man. I see my share of big, hard-hitting wrestling matches in this arena, but I can't tell you enough how amazing the atmosphere was inside the Rosemont Horizon during the Pete Dunne Tyler Bate match. I was on the edge of my seat when I was covering this match back in January when I was still doing play-by-play articles. And the fact these guys outdid what that first match was in Birmingham, I think it was, in Blackpool. The fact they outdid what they did in Blackpool in this match, especially in this arena, made it so special for me. These guys were awesome, man. Just absolutely tremendous and glorious and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These guys are phenomenal, man. So I want a big props to Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. These guys have a great future ahead of them, and Pete Dunne's your new United Kingdom champion. So it was awesome. I did see Pete Dunne winning, but man, that match was freaking insane. So like everybody was saying, fight forever. Fight forever. Other stuff on the show, I thought the three-way match with the women's title match was alright. Asuka retained again, so who knows, maybe Asuka will say her goodbyes to NXT at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Whoever that opponent will be. I did toss out the idea of possibly whoever wins the women's tournament this summer should take on Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver Brooklyn. That's just my idea. Just throwing it out there. Maybe you guys like it or not. Let me know on Twitter at Notorious Joshi if you like that. How about that? The winner of the women's tournament this summer on the network goes on to take Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. That's just an idea. Just throwing it out there. Another moment here where I was proud of the city that they didn't do Punk chants. I'm glad they didn't do it during the Bobby Roode and Tommy match. Roode and Tommy did a good job. I wasn't sure what to expect from the match, and that's the cool part about it. You shouldn't assume what's going to happen. I thought it was good. I always been a Bobby Roode fan from back in his TNA days, and the guy's doing a great job in this NXT title reign. Hideo Tommy had a big coming out party. He needed this type of performance, especially with all the injuries he's been dealing with for the past couple of years. And I'm happy for both guys. Bobby Roode won. He retained the NXT Championship, so we'll see what happens next. I have no idea as to who will take on Bobby Roode at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I have no idea. I really don't. But it looks like Hideo Tommy's going to get into a program with Cassius Ohno after that little melee they had in the back in the locker room after TakeOver this past Saturday. I thought that was very interesting. Also, the main event, man, DIY versus the Authors of Pain. The ladder match was awesome. These guys beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. It was very, very entertaining, and I love the match and the story that was told, and the entire crowd was into it. The nasty German suplex off the ladder that broke another ladder in the corner was so sick, man. The double flying off the ladders onto both AOP members was nasty as well. It was a very, very physical match. And, you know, the funny story about this TakeOver experience for me was that, and I put this out on Twitter and on Instagram, I had the entire row to myself at TakeOver. There was some no-shows at the event. And I'll thank you, man, because you guys gave me the opportunity to sprawl out and watch wrestling from my favorite arena in the world. And, like, I'm at home. So, you know, I'm watching this match, and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. This show can't get any better. And DIY and Authors of Pain are killing it. Authors of Pain win. Those guys don't get enough respect, man. Those guys are good. Those guys are very, very good for their lack of experience. They are good. And these two are going to be a wrecking force down the road in the future. So, and then you see Gargano and Ciampa leaving the ring, and it's a very special moment for those guys to think about this. Gargano and Ciampa cut their teeth in Chicago in the Indies, and they were big staples of AEW before they came to the WWE. And these guys got to close out the show at the Allstate Arena, and then the way they did that turn as the credits were coming on the screen, it was awesome, man. You couldn't write it any better than the way they did it with the way they did that turn this past Saturday night. It was awesome. I was shocked. The fact they did the whole white noise off the announce table through those three tables in the corner was nasty. Man, it was insane. It was really, really insane. But again, NXT TakeOver Chicago, probably the best TakeOver I ever saw, and I'm biased to that because I was there. That Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne match was so special, man, and I'll never forget going to this event. I'll never forget it. It was a lot of fun, and big props to everybody on the card. Props to Triple H and the crew from NXT. Wow. Takeover Chicago was good. Very, very good. I want to see if they can follow that up at Brooklyn. We'll see. But again, I had an absolute blast at NXT Takeover Chicago. I'm going to play a couple clips from this past Monday's Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about that. Then we'll head out for today. And then we'll be back here tomorrow on MindTheCarnage.com, by the way. Cheap plug. We'll be back here at MindTheCarnage.com tomorrow, as well as I record a live podcast with Roddy Starks, independent wrestler, my good brother, and the real the Steel City Savior. So I'll play a couple clips here. First one, we're going to go back a little old school here with Goldust, because he killed it last night on Raw. And then we're going to play the segment between Finn Balor and Paul Heyman.
The brightest lights may fade away, but gold is the purest of them all. It never withers. It never rusts. Infinite luster. But our truth's light is flickering. He's holding on to that last glimmer of hope, just waiting for another chance to shine on my silver screen. I don't need a script. This is my picture. And I'm back in the director's chair now. I control how and when my next film will end. The Golden Age is back.
Mr. Balor, I respectfully submit, you, sir, are nobody's victim. And I know that the other contenders in the Fatal Five-Way have painted you as the underdog, but Finn Balor, you're no underdog either. I believe in my heart you are the most talented in-ring performer in WWE today. I believe that you believe you're going to take those other contenders to the extreme, and I know a little bit something about the word extreme, and I also believe that you believe that when it comes to my client, you don't look at my client like he's Brock Lesnar, 6'3.5", 295 pounds, NCAA Division I heavyweight champion, UFC heavyweight champion, WWE heavyweight champion, Universal champion. No, you believe that my client is the same as the other contenders in the Fatal Five-Way at Extreme Rules. That if you step into the ring with my client, he, just like the others, will be Finn Balor's victim. Which is why I came here tonight to look you in the eyes and say to you, Finn Balor, of all the possibilities at Extreme Rules, I look forward and I'm most intrigued to the possibility of Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor for the Universal Championship. On behalf of my client, the Beast, the Conqueror, the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, good luck in the Fatal 5-Way at Extreme Rules.
You know what, Paul? I'm actually glad you're here. I wish that Brock Lesnar was here, but he's not. Surprise, surprise. But you know, you being Brock Lesnar's advocate, maybe you can give him a message from me. You tell Brock Lesnar that at Extreme Rules, I will win the Fatal 5-Way match. And I will go on to face Brock Lesnar for the championship that I never lost. And you tell him that I said that Finn Balor will beat Brock Lesnar.
All clips aired on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast are owned by the WWE. These are not exclusive property of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. These clips are to enhance our presentation of our product and back up our points on the broadcast. Also, by the way, if you want to be an advertiser with the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, all you have to do is send an email to joshlopezwwe94@gmail.com using the subject line advertising. Once again, Josh Lopez WWE94@gmail.com with the subject line advertising. All right, as we set off here for this week's edition of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, I just wanted to spend a couple minutes talking about last night's Monday Night Raw from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I thought the show was decent. You know, I talk about this a lot. When you have these in-between shows on the road to a pay-per-view, it's all plot points. And that's kind of the challenge you have with weekly television. You know, you're usually setting up matches and adding different stipulations to it one week into another. It's not easy to produce weekly television like that. Maybe you have one particular angle that's getting everybody excited and on their hands and feet, and like maybe you have a couple segments on the 3-hour show that'll get you hooked in events like that. But literally, you know, most of the matches that are going to happen in the pay-per-view. It's about, okay, can we get to the pay-per-view? And that's kind of the challenge you have when you have a 5-week build to a pay-per-view or a 4-week build, or sometimes you have a shorter build. But nonetheless, it's all about plot points, and I think they did a good job with what they needed to do for the Fatal 5-Way match at Extreme Rules, which is going to be really cool. I really enjoyed the Matt Hardy-Sheamus match. I thought that was a very good match. The main event was very good as well. I was kind of surprised that Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt won because due to what happened last week with those two, but a good outing for them as well. We found out that next week we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, which is going to be awesome. And also we're going to have Finn Balor versus Joe versus Bray Wyatt in a triple threat match. That's going to be sick. I can't wait for that. It's going to be the last show before Extreme Rules coming up in Baltimore. You know, I've never been to Baltimore before. I like to go there one day. I don't know if they'll have a Mania there or not, but I like to go to Baltimore sometime. I heard they got some good food out there, to be honest with you. But other stuff on Raw, man, like I played that clip from Goldust. It was really cool to see him turn back the clock and do what he did best during the accident and these majestic promos and his the way he conducts himself in these promos are just absolutely phenomenal. What's the worst thing that can happen? Him against Ambrose for the IC title? If you consider that a bad thing, I feel sorry for you because I'd actually be interested in that match. Goldust versus Ambrose, I think that'd be very cool. But see Goldust getting back to where he was, and I think this is going to be the actual final curtain call for his career, and he's going to go all out with this, and I couldn't be happier for Dustin because I bet you he's having a blast doing these promos right now. So, happy to see Goldust is in good spirits, and I think this rise of the return of the Goldust character could even add more momentum for Monday Night Raw. Again, the Titus brand, I'm all for it. Support Titus O'Neil, goddammit. Titus O'Neil is over. He is over. Repeat, I've said over. Speaking of the Paul Heyman Finn Balor stuff, I thought it was a very, very good segment. I thought the match that Finn had with Carl Anderson was pretty solid as well. And overall, I thought the Raw was alright. I didn't think it was horrible or anything like that. It was okay. We'll obviously probably get a bigger show next week since it's the last show before Extreme Rules. And we had a good time on Universal Chatter last night, as always. Honestly, I tell you guys this: if you want to cure a 3-hour Monday Night Raws, tune into Universal Chatter while Raw's going on. I'm telling you guys, it'll make the show go by quicker. Trust me. We have so much fun on Universal Chatter. It's an absolute blast. But overall, I thought Raw was decent. We'll see what happens for next week. And next week, our episode will be making our predictions. Yes. For Extreme Rules 2017, and that should be a lot of fun. So I want to thank you guys so much for checking out today's edition of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast with the announcement of going to MindTheCards.com. I decided I wanted to do 2 episodes because I was dealing with the cold last week, and I had the stuff going on with my birthday, and then I Backlash and Takeover, and it's just a lot of stuff going on. But I'll be back here tomorrow around noon time to record episode 56 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. And we're going to be doing not interview, but just a fun conversation with myself and the good brother Ronnie Starks, which you can follow me on Twitter at SC Starks. Make sure to follow the Mind of Carnage crew. Shout out to Adam and Sam Daly from Wrestling Whip, by the way. And I'm glad to come on here for the first time in mindofcarnage.com so those supporters of the website are checking out this show for the first time. Welcome to the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope I give you something different than most of the other wrestling podcasts you listen to. And we had a blast. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Notorious Joshi. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and Stitcher or wherever you get your podcast from. And let's leave a review. That's all I ever ask. I want an honest review of what you guys like and don't like about this show. And at the end of the day, I want to do this for you guys. I love doing this podcast, and I'll be back here tomorrow. So thank you guys so much. I know you guys have so many other things you could be focusing on. And again, I just wanted to send my prayers and condolences to the families of that terrible, terrible explosion that happened in Manchester last night. During the Ariana Grande concert. It's just absolutely a horrible circumstance, man. It's just absolutely ridiculous, man. It's just sad how low and lower the society gets these days, man. But my prayers and condolences go out to the fans that are affected by this tragedy out in Manchester. It really sucks. But in a positive note, man, thank you guys so much. Keep your spirits up, man. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Live with a positive mental attitude. This is Student of the Game of Professional Wrestling, Josh Lopez. I'm out. Talk to you tomorrow.